Hoop Dreams, the podcast, an Unlearning Network production.
The man joining us today, is a cultural icon.
Yeah.
Two-time NBA champion, NBA All-Star, a McDonald's All-American, a member of the Michigan infamous Fab Five, and the 2021 NCAA Coach of the Year.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chicago's very own, yes, we claiming him, Chicago's very own, the legend, Juwan Howard. Nuke, we just want to welcome you to the Hoop Dreams podcast. I'm Will Gates, and that's my dog,
Arthur Agee. Jay, man, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you guys. And first of all, I want to say this. You guys don't need no introduction, man. You are two of the Chicago's legends, man. So, I'm just really happy to be a part of this. And more importantly, just see you guys, man. That's the beauty of it, man, because it just brings back so many great memories of our times as teenagers, either playing against one another or playing with each other. We all have different walks of life, where we came from, but we, in some type of way, we're connected, and we're connected by being Chicago's own, man.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful to see Chicago's own.
That's real love there, man. That's real love.
Beautiful.
Well, Nuke, let me ask you this, man. We all the same age, came up playing together, that class of 91. But tell me and Agee, man, when was the first time you watched Hoop Dreams, and what were your thoughts?
Well, my first time watching it was, I was in the league my first couple of years. And when I had a chance to see it, man, I was just I was in awe, and I was also happy. And I remember the excitement that, how excited I was, how, the excitement of, a lot of not just the basketball world, but people in general was so, pumped up about the story and about, the perseverance of how you guys had, adversity you guys dealt with. And, I was like, wow, I'm connected to those guys, man. I know them. I remember the time when we were at Nike All-American Camp, and, the camera crew was following you guys around. And, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was originally supposed to have been something seen on either Channel 9 or Channel 32 or something like that.
Yeah,
then
right.
It became this big documentary, and then it blew up into, the big stage in the movie theaters. And I'm like, yo, those my dogs. I know them. I was so happy for y'all. And I'm still happy because everyone still watched that, man.
It's crazy. It was just on last night. I was getting hit up all today.
It's inspirational, man. It really is. Your story, man, was real and raw. And people look at it and say, hey, man, I want to be like them. And, I want to strive to, learn a lot from a lot of their life lessons, man. And that's the beauty of what you guys have done, impacting so many, including myself.
It kind of showed an inside light on our recruiting process, our living situations. And a lot of you guys, you, Howard, Nathan, Jalen, all of us was living and coming from the same areas. But the cameras had never been inside that world to get that. And I think that was just eye-opening to people, like, damn.
Yeah, you're right. And that's why I commend you guys so much for allowing, the cameras, allowing everyone, the viewers, to get a chance to they get inside your personal life and see, some things that, what you guys dealt with, whether you touched on your living arrangements, whether it's relationships with your parents, relationship with your girlfriend, basketball, the relationship with your coaches, injuries that you had to deal with. Your story is impactful. And I'm just, happy that, I know you guys, and I'm just so happy that, you guys have touched so many, man, and God has blessed us all, man. And I'm just so proud of the two of you.
Hey, man, I just got to correct you on that. You can, commend Mama Agee and Mama Gates, because it wouldn't have happened without their permissions. You know how we feel in the community back then with cameras coming into your home, your personal space.
Yeah.
Like Mama and them like, hold on, what the hell going on here? Like, why is these wires hanging in my house for months? Well, we're gonna come back tomorrow and film William Gates. Yeah. That's how it was.
And then, like, you know, going back to the neighborhood, man, hey, we got to commend the neighborhood for allowing them cameras in, because, you know, the neighborhood that you guys grew up in, you know, I know, like, first of all, I'm not going to step too far in the West Side. You know, I'm not too familiar with the West Side like you guys are. And then we know, like, the streets, you know, helped raise us too. So they gave them an in that, you know, allowed those cameramen to come in, and, you know, let's commend the streets too, bro.
Yep, most definitely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. We always want to know the origin story.
Yeah.
Give us the Juwan Howard origin story, man. You grew up on Chicago's South Side.
Right.
Give us the story, man. Give us the nuke story.
Yeah. Good question, man. Yeah, you're right. Growing up on the South Side, and, you know, we all can trust that, you know, what is said here is coming from a pure place. And so, you know, the South Side is just like how the West Side, you know, it's not the most inviting place, but that's what we know, and that's what we're proud of.
Yep.
And I've had an opportunity to grow up in two neighborhoods, and one being on 69th and Hoffar. And, you know, a lot of those guys in that neighborhood, you know, taught me the game of basketball, pushed me in a lot of ways, and inspired me as well. Like, you know, I remember some of the street legends in there playing, you know, right on the playground. And, you know, when you want to get out there on the playground and play with some of the old heads, man, you got to come with it.
Yeah.
And if you ain't bringing it, then you won't get chosen out there on the basketball court. So they inspired me to work on my game, because I wanted to get out there and play, and the games was so competitive. So I recall times, man, when guys, you know, picked their five, and, you know, if I wasn't picked, then I used to be like, man, I got to go work on my game. It wasn't like I was, you know, like sour. I'm like, you know what, I'm giving up. They just pushed me to be, you know, who I am today. And so I credit a lot of that, my upbringing from, you know, what I learned from, you know, growing up in the city of Chicago. And then when I moved to 95th and Princeton, that was another level. You know, I thought I was moving into a neighborhood that was, you know, townhomes, and you know, I was getting to some bigger and better place. And then when I went outside to play softball with the kids, and, you know, kids are going to be honest, man. They're going to, you know, they're not going to, sugarcoat anything. And so I remember like, man, I'm excited about the neighborhood. This is a cool place. You know, these are townhomes. And I never forget, they started laughing. I'm like, wow, what they laughing about? So then right away, you know, one of the young ladies said, this the projects, this CHA. I was like, what? I was just like stunned, bro. Like, my heart it's just, because you had always heard so many negative things about CHA, the projects, and how rough it is. And then I got a chance to live there, man, and get an opportunity to, you know, meet a lot of, you know, like when you kids, you know, kids gonna be kids, you're gonna make friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so getting in the neighborhood and hanging out and meeting a lot of friends, man, it really just humbled me in a lot of ways to not look down on CHA or not, you know, think that you're bigger and better than anyone. It humbled me in a lot of ways to be like, you know what, you just got to keep grinding. You got to keep working. And that neighborhood really put a lot of, you know, mental toughness and inspired me to be who I am. But again, so I've been fortunate enough to have the neighborhood help raise me. Right. My grandmother, man, she was a big inspiration, you know, especially when you have parents, you know, not doing well, when, you know, when that drug game was really heavy. Yep. So, you know, my mom's was, you know, was rolling in it, and then my dad was out of my life. And you know, I could have easily just quit, and I had every excuse to quit. I had every excuse to point the finger and to make excuses for, you know, like, man, you know, my life, my home situation not right. Well, you know what? No, I wasn't built like that. And so, you know, I'm fortunate enough to have a high school coach like Richard Cook and Dr. Kirksey. You know, those two Black men, you know, along with other folks, man, it really like helped me, man, become the man I am today, because I was a young man that was trying to find his way. And Coach Cook and Coach Kersey, man, and then also Tyrone Slaughter, man, and then Thomas Milan, man. That was like, those was, inspirational Black men in the neighborhood that really like helped me in a lot of ways to grow up. And I made mistakes when I was younger, but they was always there to tell me the truth. And I owe my life to those men that I just mentioned, all four of them.
Hey, Coach, if I'm not mistaken, Coach Kersey just passed, right? Recently.
Yes, he did. He passed.
Yeah, rest in peace to Coach Kersey, man.
Yeah.
And Coach, who put that ball in your hand, man? Like, you say your pops wasn't around. My pops was in and out of my life, but he really didn't put the ball in my hand. I just picked it up from just being around friends and seeing what they was doing and saw the love that they was getting, that they was good. So that's when I just started working on my game. Like, how did it go for you? And tell us the playgrounds that you hooked up on.
Yeah, it's a similar story. Like the playgrounds that I was hooked up on was Chestnut. Chestnut was right there on 70th and Dante, excuse me. And it's right across the street from my people call it elementary school, but I call it grammar school. And so
right.
And it was right across the street from there. And I remember a lot of the guys saw how tall I was, and they was like surprised, like, "Yo, man, how old are you?" And I was like, "Well, I'm only 5 years old." And they were like, "What? Like you're like a teenager." Then when I turned 6, they always used to call me Big 5 or Big 6, or however I got to 7, they called me Big 7. Those dudes, man, in the neighborhood put the ball in my hand, was like, "Yo, man, Shorty, you should be playing some ball." So I started playing ball like when I was like 5 or 6 in the playground. And that's how I picked it up, man. And then, I used to watch, Dr. J, Magic, those days with the Lakers and Boston Celtics, and and the rivalry between the Sixers and the Celtics. And so I was like, I was inspired by those games. And then I was inspired by like Georgetown, watching Patrick Ewing and watching, as I got older, watching Illinois. And I was like, yo, man, I want to be a guard,
I think in high school you did play guard.
Yeah, you did.
People were surprised, man, that I had, can bring the ball up the floor at my size, but I was always playing against older cats. So if you couldn't handle that basketball, then you wouldn't get chosen on the playground. So that encouraged me to work on my handle. So I always kept the ball in my hand when I was going to and from the store, like dribbling the ball, whether it was between my legs, behind my back. I go grab some stuff from the store for my grandmother. I had that basketball in my hand. And I know y'all recall them days, man, of having that ball in your hand. Everywhere you go, you got that ball in your hand.
There you go.
Hey, Coach, and it was the cheapest game ever.
And that's why I didn't play football, because we didn't have football in the hood, because football is expensive. You had to, pay for the equipment, pay for cleats and stuff like that. Man, hey, that was in the suburbs, man.
Yeah.
It was only basketball or baseball with me.
Baseball, that was it.
Yeah, strike out on draw the box up on the building, and then that heck, and then go get some baseballs. $1. You get like 3 balls for $1 or 4 for $1.
That's right. At the corner drugstore.
Yes.
That's right. Duke, I want to ask you, man, speaking of that, playing in the neighborhood, everybody, and I shouldn't say everybody, but I'm going to go out on a limb. We all had somebody we had to get over that was in the neighborhood, that he was just a killer. Who was that guy for you that you had to get over?
Yeah, great question, man. I remember this brother named, we call him Ivy. And Ivy was older than me, much older, a grown man, but he was that dude in the neighborhood, man. Can shoot it like Bird. Never played with shorts on. He always played with like some jogging pants. And I was wondering, like, man, how the hell he was so smooth on the floor and so fluid with them pants on. But like, he could think the game. He was tough. He wasn't the most physical individual, but he was physical within his toughness and up in his head and then also in his heart. But he wasn't like one of these, big, muscle dudes. He was just, just a competitor, man. And I could never beat him. But he really he was very helpful in inspiring me about like teaching me a lot of tricks of the game and, being like that big brother to me and then also a lot of the kids that was in the neighborhood. So Ivy, man, was that dude for me, man.
Everybody had a nickname growing up in the neighborhood, or you did some, or the way you look, you did some in your game or something. How you got your nickname? What was that nickname for you in that hood?
Man, my nickname was always Nuki, man, or Big Nuke, and that name followed me because my aunt named me that. I was a baby. She named me Nookie, and they used to call me Nuki, and so from then on, like that name just stuck with me, and it stuck with me in the neighborhood. And so no matter what, even though I hoop and I got better and better each year, I was always looked at as Nuki or Big Nuke or Nuke because, my high school coach called me that.
Mm-hmm.
When I went on to college, Steve Fisher and his staff called me that, and all my teammates called me that. And still to this day, everyone calls me that, so I was never, considered Juwan or called by my first name,
Right.
And that still to this day feel weird to me when people call me Juwan, or even when I introduce myself. Hi, I'm Juwan. I'm new.
That's right.
And then like when people be like, what's new? What's new? I just like, I'm trying to explain it. I say, you know what, Juwan.
Well, you always been Nuke to me. I ain't known you for nothing but Nuke. That's it.
Well, man, I appreciate that, brother. And that's all when I go on the road, like when I was playing in the league, playing in the NBA, and you always hear your name being called by fans, and you hear that Juwan. And sometimes I wouldn't look because, it was rather a fan either saying hello or probably was a fan that was heckling you. But someone yelled out Nuke or Big Nuke, I turn right away and look. And I identify like, yo, who is that calling my name? They got my attention. They must be somebody from the crib.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We either say the shy or say the crib, like, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and still to this day, like, when I go back home, man, people be like, what up, Nuke? What up, Nuke? I'm like, yo, man, that's my name. That makes me feel comfortable. And I feel like, yo, I know I'm at home now. I feel a certain level of peace.
Well, man, we want to jump into your high school days. Because first of all, you was a beast. And I got to do this too, man. I told him that I would. I want to shout out my nephews, Cartel Bibbs and Brandon Bibbs, because they ran into Nuke, and that's how we reconnected. So I want to give them a little shout out, love, because they reconnected us, and Nuke called right away. I was like, man, what a blessing. But
that's what's
your
up.
high school days, man, you were a beast. I mean, I remember it. But for all the people who don't know about the Chicago Public League, tell people what the Chicago Public League is all about.
Yes. Man, Chicago Public League, in my opinion, one of the toughest leagues in the country. And I know I didn't see a lot of high school basketball in other countries while we were in high school, but the level of talent that was displayed throughout not just the city, but the state. But then when you talk about the public league itself, like you had high schools like Keene, Simeon, and then you also had like Westinghouse, Marshall, Crane, and then you go over Collins. I mean, you go to Corliss, man. I mean, like Julian. I mean, the names, like Carver. I mean, you can keep rolling them out more and more about South Shore.
Yes.
A lot of those high schools, man, had so much talent, and they also had great coaches. And so getting a chance to compete in that league, you had to bring it. And if you didn't, you'll get exposed in so many ways. And the level of competitiveness was so deep that with how the media, portrayed it, like one thing that was different back then that's different now is like they had social media like now. But back in our day, like the Chicago Defender, Chicago Tribune, Chicago Sun-Times. So you was trying to make your mark because you know if you didn't bring it, it was going to get written about you. That you know, like you're probably not as the stud that people say you are, or your high school is not as good as and doesn't stack up with the best of them. And I never forget. I think it was like every Tuesday where they're ranked like the high schools and where they are one top 25. And my goal was to make sure that CVS was always in the top 5 and I always trying to get to number 1. But wow, what a way to really help me develop into being that competitor, man. And so I credit a lot of those guys that in our era, in our class, we had to face. They really got the best of me and made me go out there and work. And, then let me touch on not only just the public league, but, out there in the suburbs, like St. Rose, Provide East, with Mike Finley and Sherelle Ford and Donnie Boyce. And then, talking about like East Aurora and then Peoria, Manual. And if you don't bring it versus Naperville, they will beat you. And, and then you had Nutria, they played well. Yeah. I mean, it was so much talent that was in the state of state of Illinois, that really, really was special. And so I look back on it, man, I was just so happy that I had an opportunity to compete on that level.
Now, when you coming out of 8th grade, was there a bidding war for you to come to one of those Southside high schools? Like, how did you get to CVS?
Yeah, good question. My elementary school did not have like a basketball team. So we wasn't playing in any league or anything like that. So I used to play in like a park district tournament. And so the park district tournament I played in was Grand Crossing? No, Thule. It was Thule Park. Okay. I was playing at Thule Park. And while I was playing this tournament in 8th grade, some of the older cats had saw me. And Darren Hill, who played at CVS, I was playing against him. And then Lamar Carter, my homeboy, he was playing for CVS. And so they were like, yo, man, you need to come play for CVS. And at that time, I was thinking about going to Hirsch because one of my homeboys, Jay Blackwell, he went to Hirsch. So I was going to go follow him. And then CVS, they told their high school coach, Coach Cook, about me. And then Coach Cook may have asked them for my number. So I gave them my number. And then a few days later, he called my house, talked to me, talked to my grandmother. And that's how I got recruited to go play at CVS. So I guess you say I was a hidden gem.
Big Nuka hidden gem, right.
Right.
Them CVS boys know what they was doing. They was like, yo, we can't, he be balling with us. We can't let him go to King, Simeon, none of them schools. Yeah. Let's cop him now.
Right. And to be real about it, I was excited about the Catholic League, man. I remember going to a Leo game, man. I went to go watch Leo play against St. Rita. And I was watching their game. They had this guy by the name of Randy Doss and Chris Henderson and Donnell Whiteside and Sean Fry. Ooh. And those was tough, man. So I was like, man, I wanted to play Leo. And we couldn't financially afford for me to go to a Catholic school because, you had to pay to go to Catholic school unless. Right. I didn't know that they found ways to get you in by, getting you a scholarship or something like that, like a financial aid.
You had to be good like William Gates for them to pay for your whole high school education. I wasn't that good. I wasn't that good enough, Juwan. Obviously, you wasn't neither. The prodigy kid over here getting shouted out on the news. I mean, my God, everybody just not a William Gates.
Man, like I told Will's nephews, man, I told them, man, I said, yo, Will's game remind me of like Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, man.
Yes.
Like, the way how Donovan Mitchell is athletic, Will was athletic. Donovan Mitchell can create his own shot off the dribble. Yep. Will can get downhill and go finish over top of you. So can Donovan Mitchell. Yep. they also have a similar build, like the wide shoulders, tough chests. And, I'm like, yo, it's so much resemblance in their game. And I was explaining that to his nephews, and because they were like, they never seen, the uncle play before. They probably heard some of the stories. They watched Hoop Dream. I'm like, no, your uncle, man, he was that dude, man.
Yes, he was.
He was that dude.
I appreciate that, Newt. I appreciate that,
bro.
man.
You were that dude.
I want to throw some names at you, man. I want to throw some names at you. This is our class. Obviously, you, Juwan Howard, Newt, Sherelle Ford, Tom Kleinschmidt, Howard Nathan, Billy. People forget about Billy out there.
Yep.
Chris Collins. He was one of them suburban boys you was talking about.
Yeah.
When you think about that 1991 class, and I'm just talking about the Chicago, I'm not even talking about at the Nike camp, because we know how phenomenal that camp was. But when you think about all those guys that came out in 91, even Donnie Boyce, Mike Family, you mentioned them. To me, that was like one of the greatest classes to ever come out of the state of Illinois. Arthur Agee. I mean, that's just a phenomenal class. What do you think about when you talk about that class?
And, I have to add, 2 more names, if you don't mind. Shelley Clark.
Absolutely.
South Shore. And then you also have to add like Belifia Parks from Simeon.
Yes.
Was Townsend Orr?
No, Townsend Orr was a year ahead of us.
A year ahead of us, right.
Yeah. So, man, that was that was a phenomenal class, man. And, I look back on it, in my opinion, I'm biased, man. I think it was one of the best classes that would come out of the state of Illinois. Because I remember times when we used to have to play against each other more shootout.
Mm-hmm.
More shootout. It was that tournament, man. And you're going to get a chance to see pretty much everyone that you mentioned that's going to be there, because their high school is going to be participating in that tournament. So you had to bring it. And it was just beautiful to have an opportunity to go to Nike All-American Camp and hang out with you guys there. And one thing about Chicago, we always stayed together.
We did.
Go hang out in somebody's room, whether we there just chopping it up, cracking jokes, or whether we there hanging out eating pizza. Chicago, we always stayed together. Even like in a lunchroom, we always sat near each other. And even though we competed against each other a lot in high school, but it shows you the level of respect that we have for one another and the love that we all have for each other. Like, it was never personal.
Why was it that Rashard Griffith was able to go? Because I thought it was only for seniors.
Yeah. If you recall, like the year before, I went to the camp when I was a sophomore, leading into my junior year. That's when Jamie Brandon was, that was his year when he was about to be an incoming senior.
Okay.
So they did allow only a few underclassmen to attend. And, Rashad was a beast back then. So they felt he would be able to, get a chance to stack up against some of these upperclassmen. And he did. He had a camp too.
And I think y'all was differentiated from the different color polos you guys had on.
Yeah.
Was it okay? Was it the seniors had on the white? Because I remember you, Tom Kleinschmidt, and them walking into the facility with the white joints on.
Yeah, Tom. And speaking of Tom, man, like, let's give a shout out to Tom, bro. Like,
absolutely, TK. Tom
was like that dude, man. He always came to the hood, man. He didn't care. You can invite Tom to the barbecue, bro. Like, that's how dope Tom was, man. Like, he definitely invited to the cookout. Like, and he was playing right in. And I love playing with him. And people, I never forget, used to always try to like compare the two of us and like totally two different players.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we didn't allow like no one to get in between our relationship or media. But the beauty of it is I'm just so happy to see the impact he's having on these young men today in DePaul Prep.
Yep.
Like, I think if I'm not mistaken, he got Coach of the Year, man. So
yeah, he did.
He did.
Yeah, congrats to Tom Kleinschmidt, man. Much respect to my brother.
That was Will Nemesis, man, for 3 years in a row. Just couldn't get past that dude, man.
Hey, listen. Nuke was right, man. We didn't necessarily have that city Chicago rivalry because y'all was in it all the time. But man, when the playoffs hit, man, you got to go through Proviso West. You got to go through Proviso East. You got to hit the Chicago Catholic League, and it wasn't just Gordon Tech. It's Leo. I mean, you got to hit all that to get downstate. So Nuke is
It's
right.
like totally different now. Like they have a format where like what they have different classes that can make downstate, like class 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A.
You can lose city and still try to go for the state tournament.
Yeah. I'm like,
that's crazy.
That format when we were in high school. I mean, I'm sure each and every one of us on this podcast would be saying like, oh yeah, I won state one year. I won state.
Easy.
Yeah, man, easy. It was like an easy gateway in order to win it. But like, there was only one way how we had to go. We had to beat each other down.
Yep, just to get out the city.
And I even remember the city champ. Whoever they went downstate, they always played the Chicago suburban champ. So you still had the battle. They never left that alone, man. And I remember I used to get mad, man, when I used to be like, man, we killing Joliet Catholic, but they down there playing for the state championship game. I'm like, what route are they taking to get downstate?
You won it our year too, didn't you?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask you.
Yeah.
The Final Four is set, right? So is y'all playing Westinghouse, Kewan Garris now, and Marshall playing King. So when they announced it in our school, I think we had lunch period, and they was like, Marshall will play King High School. Everybody started coming up to, man, congratulations, man. Y'all had a good season, man. You're like, you know, y'all gonna get y'all butts kicked, but y'all came this far, man. Y'all good, man. So I'm thinking to myself, damn, it's gonna be an all Southside final. King against CVS. Because I was just knowing y'all was gonna beat Westinghouse. I'm just knowing. I wanted to ask you, what was your mindset going into that game? Was it bravado? Was it like, man, we finna kill these dudes. Like, we ain't really up for them, but we could just walk into the gym and scare them. What was your mindset? You, Lampley, Joe Weaver.
Man, to be honest with you, we were totally prepared. And my mindset was thinking like, okay, well, you know what? We got to wear these dudes down from start to finish. We didn't come in with a cockiness about us or like felt that the game was already won before it was played. The surprising part of it was that we didn't realize that Westinghouse was so damn quick to the ball, man. They so many turnovers, man. And then like I knew, like reading about, Kawani Garris, that he was a tough guard, but man, to get a chance to
just a sophomore.
Right, just to see him out there playing against, seniors and looking like he belonged.
Yeah.
And more importantly, like his team, how they rallied behind him. I was like, man, this is unreal. I can't believe we lost to Westinghouse and the amount of turnovers that we had. Like, cause they put that press on us, man. We couldn't even get the ball up the floor.
Them dudes pressed the whole game. I hated playing against them, bro, because you're going to have at least 2 turnovers yourself if you don't get rid of the ball real quick because they coming.
Right. They were scrappy, boy, and tough, man. And it's typical West Side. Like, much respect to the West Side, man. You guys always have like that guard play that's elite level, that's built on toughness, built on skill, and speed. Boy, that was quick.
I know, we just couldn't get none of them West Side Giants, though. I mean, them South Side Giants. We just couldn't get them.
Couldn't get none of them, man.
I thought the South Side produced nothing. If you wasn't 6'5" and above, you didn't live on the South Side.
Hey, Coach, I remember the first 5 minutes of the King game, we tip it off. I think we scored the first bucket, but we all kind of sensed they was kind of like they wasn't timid, but they was just like slow to react to everything. So me and my point guard, DZ, was like, this the time to go right now. Just to hit them in their mouth now immediately. So we picked up full court and everything, like just we always played a man-to-man. And what killed them was they didn't want to come out that 2-3 zone. They thought we was going to go in and do offensive fouls, jump in the air and all that. Coach had us crazy, wild. He said, y'all ain't got nothing to lose. Go out there and play. I remember him in the huddle, and that just geeked you up even more when the coach tell you like you doing everything you supposed to do. You got him rattled. Keep going, and it was just crazy. Crazy to be having a film like that. My dog sitting in the stands say, "Hey, dog, I'm gonna be at the game. I'm gonna be there rooting on you." Came to the game, man. I saw Will. It was over after that.
Mm-hmm. It shows you the relationship and the respect that y'all have for each other, man. And the will to show up and support, man. That's love, man.
Yes.
That's love.
Let me ask you this, Nuke. When was that moment you realized, man, I'm the dude? When was that moment? Was it a game? Did somebody tell you? Did you dunk on somebody? When was the moment that you said, you know what? I'm good at this.
Yeah, good question, man. I think my sophomore year at CVS, and this was may have been the third time I played against Simeon in the playoffs at Corliss. This was the game to go to the semifinals, and we lost to them in the quarterfinal. And Deion Thomas, and the first time I played against Deion at CVS, he dominated me. He like 26 points, and he didn't finish the fourth quarter, but 20 of the 26 was on me, and he dunked on me. So that inspired me to get better. That inspired me to work. But then when I came back, the second time we played him at Simeon, I played solid. But then that third time at Corliss, I think I got the best of him, but he won. And then I was like, you know what? That was my measuring stick. I said, I think I got a good chance at this, man. I was getting letters like you guys were from colleges, but I was like, wow, I think I can go to college and have a true impact. If I play against Deion Thomas, and he's the number one player in our state and also ranked in the country. And, Deion had all the footwork. He was a skilled big man could play with his back to the basket. He was also athletic, rim protector. And I'm like, damn, I'm dominating Deion like this? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I got a chance.
They play high major too.
Right. And so when I got to college in Michigan, after my sophomore year, I felt like, you know what? I got a chance to play in the league, man, because for my freshman year, I averaged like 11 points and playing with Chris and Jalen and Jimmy and Ray, but still to be, considered an option and be effective with my limited minutes and limited touches.
Yeah.
And then my sophomore year, I got a bigger role, but I saw the improvement that in my game where I averaged 15 points. And I was like, yo, all right, Webb is leaving. He's about to be the number one pick.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, sometimes I be busting this dude butt in practice. So I'm like, yo, I know I got a chance, then. Let me just be patient.
I saw how intelligent your IQ was. Like you said, you wasn't getting them many touches and all that, but you still made an impact whenever you was on the floor. And then just to see your growth from your freshman year to your sophomore year, it was like the confidence was you could just see it oozing off you, bro. Like you had arrived. Like, if I want to leave right now, I could, but nah, I'm gonna come on back.
Yep. And that confidence is everything. And we all can, of course, attest to that. When you have belief in yourself, you feel like you can't be stopped. It's not, I don't say that in an arrogant way. It's just more of a way where you just, you feel that, you trust in yourself. And so I've always been a type of person that's been bought on team and winning and playing the right way.
Yeah.
But then I know, like my junior year with Weber gone, that I would need to step up and care more of the, not just scoring load, but more of the leadership role.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that junior year, I exploded like no other. Then in the tournament, I put the team on my back. I think I averaged people don't even know this, but I almost averaged almost 30 points in the tournament, 28,
we know it. We saw it.
You talking about your junior year, right? Yes.
No, we saw it.
Elite Eight. I led them there, and we was just one possession away from beating Arkansas. And Arkansas ended up winning the national championship.
Yeah.
But that right there was like, you know what? It's time for me to move on. And and let's test these NBA waters. So I said I would only go if I was projected to be a lock lottery in the top 10. And when the draft projections was coming out, and I did my own due diligence, and they kept saying, like, at worst, he would be a 6th pick at worst. And I had a talk with my family and a talk with my coach, and I was like, man, I think I'm leaving.
It's time.
Yeah, it's time.
The time has come.
Well, let's talk about Michigan. You end up going to Michigan. Were there other schools you were interested in?
Yes,
Michigan? What did you have 5?
Man, it was Illinois, man. It was University of Illinois. I was all locked in to go there. And when Illinois got into that little situation with Iowa with Deion Thomas and the tape recorded conversation, allegedly that Deion was getting paid by Iowa getting paid by Illinois.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, man, I don't know if I want to deal with waiting on what the NCAA come back with. And if Illinois has any type of, infractions or, then it's going to hurt my, college future. And I was like, well, I think it's probably best for me to look elsewhere. But if I would have gone to Illinois, because I really loved, watching like Lowell Hamilton, Kendall Gill, Nick Anderson. And I became good friends with Nick Anderson. So, and then Deion Thomas went there, and then Marcus Liberty was my hero. And I was like, y'all, Jimmy Collins, hey, man, he became like that uncle, man, to me. Like,
Uncle Jimmy. Rest in peace, baby.
Yeah, man. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to Illinois. So it would have never been a Fab Five, man, if I went to Illinois.
I didn't even know you was considering Illinois. I thought you was always sold on that gold and blue. Wow, man.
Yeah.
Revelation right there. So you commit to Michigan, and now did you know any of the other guys? I mean, I know you knew Webb, I know you knew Jalen, but did you know Ray? Did you know Jimmy?
No, I did not. The only time I met Jimmy was when we both was on our visit, our official visit the same time in September. That's the first time I met Jimmy. And I never met Ray before. And when I committed, then Jimmy committed, and then Ray committed right after. I was like, wow, I told Coach, I need to get Ray Jackson's number, so I want to give him a call. And we just started to develop a relationship over the phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. He was already grooming himself, Will, for the position he in today.
To be a coach. Yes. He was doing it back then.
He was doing it back then.
Yeah, because I recruited Chris, though. Like, I recruited Chris like I was an assistant coach in college, man. I was calling that dude, telling him I wanted to play with him. Donnie Kirksey would call him and get on the phone with him. And I'd get on the phone with him and pushing him and trying to convince him to come to Michigan instead of, I didn't want him to commit to Michigan State or Duke. And to play with them and how we can dominate in the Big Ten and we can win championships, not just one, but championships. And then I got it done, man.
Yeah, I got it done, baby.
Got it many levels. On many levels. Yes. Man. So now you rolling. Y'all are the 5 Fives, but I'm sure the beginning of it wasn't quite looking like 5-5. Like you were starting, Jalen starting, Chris is starting, but Jimmy and Ray, they were slow to come along at that point. Who was in that starting lineup with you guys? Who were the other 2 guys?
Michael Talley, yes, and then the James Voskuhl.
Oh, James Voskuhl.
It was amazing to see, the level of talent that we had in practice every day, man. Like, our practice was intense. It was so competitive because dudes were like trying to go at each other's neck to get, the start, to get minutes. And I think that really what helped me become better, because every day, like, my job was going to be judged on how I competed in practice. If I didn't bring it, then Eric Riley was going to be that dude that was going to start. And Eric Riley started the year before I arrived at Michigan. He was like the leader in Big Ten and rebounds. And I think think he led the Big Ten in block shots, excuse me. So yeah, my position wasn't always set either. I had to go work for it.
I mean, Eric Riley played with Ramil Robinson and Glenn, right?
Yeah. He won that
Damn.
championship. He was a freshman that year.
Wow.
I know, my G.
The game they talk about in the Fab Five when all y'all got on campus when school was, let in, and y'all used to do that, go out there and do that intramural stuff. I think that game set the tone for how y'all practice was gonna go. Like, shit, I'm starting. Like, okay, well, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Like, that mentality that we had, man, it was just unreal. Like, we'll sit in that dorm and we'll play video games and we'll have those conversations about, like, yo, man, I'm going to start. I'm bringing it, and I'm coming at, my dude. I'm going to get his job. And when we had that first practice, when we always was trying to play with each other to play against the upperclassmen, but Coach knew what he was doing. He never wanted to separate the group, which was smart, because that would have created so much, friction on the team, and we wouldn't have been a team because there would have been so much of a divide. But our mindset was like this, like, hey, every day, let's bring it.
Yeah.
And then who was it? Jimmy ended up starting. He ended up beating Mike Talley out for his position.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ray was the second person at midpoint of the season. He ended up starting first game versus Notre Dame at Notre Dame.
At Notre Dame. LaFonso Ellis.
LaFonso Ellis was on that team. They also had Keith Towers, who was the center. And, man, they had the guard play. I forget the name of the guards, but they were good, too.
That was a nationally televised game, too, New.
Yeah.
It was on TV. We watched it. I remember that.
For all of the biggest games to the smallest events, make every bet worth your while with MyBookie. Start by doubling your first deposit instantly with MyBookie's first deposit bonus. Double your money before you even place a bet. And all you have to do is sign up and deposit using our exclusive promo code HoopDreams at MyBookie. There are tons of great games and prop bets to take advantage of this week. But let me point you in the right direction for your first wager. This Saturday, the NBA is jam-packed with big games that look good for betting overs. The Charlotte Hornets taking on the Hawks, plus a superstar showdown between Joel Embiid and Damian Lillard when the Philadelphia travels to Portland. And then Sunday, check out, that's right, my Chicago Bulls, Zach LaVine, DeRozan as they take on the Knicks, and that former still got love for him, D Rose, what should be a good game. Don't wait any longer to head to MyBookie today to redeem your double deposit bonus so you can get in the game and start winning big today. That's promo code HoopDreams, all caps, to receive double your first deposit instantly in your account. No hassle, no wait. And remember, you can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Just go to mybookie.ag. And while you're out there, be sure to follow the Hoop Dreams podcast on Instagram and Twitter at OG Hoop Dreams, and listen and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and Google, or wherever you get your podcasts at. We want to do this thing, man. We call it halftime. We gotta get this halftime in with you. It's where Agee and I, man, we're gonna ask you some quick hitters. So I'm gonna let my guy Agee hit you with the first question.
Give me your top 3 favorite rappers.
Top 3 favorite rappers.
Mr. Cabbage Patch. Come on, give it to me. That's right. Give it to me, Cabbage Patch. Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna go with, this is easy for me, man. Tupac.
Oh, yeah.
Biggie.
Oh, yeah.
And Jay-Z.
And Jay-Z. Get him, Will.
I feel that. Top 3 favorite sneakers to either wear around or to play in.
Wow. Let's see. Well, Jordans. The 13s. You guys are guards, man. I couldn't play in no 3s or no 4s, man.
Right.
They dope looking, bro, but I can't play. And I'm still like, I gotta have something to cover my ankles. The second choice I would have to go with would be, I was a shorty, I couldn't believe I was playing these Air Force Ones, man.
What? The high top ones?
Yep, the high top one.
With the strap. With the old school Velcro strap.
Yes. I still rock some of those now. And the third I would have to go with would be, this is gonna really make y'all laugh, the old school like Nikes that we used to call them Dr. J's, man. It was just like, it was the swoop. and, and right now, I think they're pretty much called like the Blazers.
The Blazers.
That's exactly what they call.
That's exactly what they call.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Hey, Coach, the toughest stadium to play in on the road in college and in the NBA.
Toughest one on the road in college would have to go with Michigan State, the Breslin Center.
Oh.
Yeah, and then as far as in the NBA, I would have to give that to, oh man, I would have to give it to Boston Celtics, the Garden.
Really?
Yeah. Boston, man, because first of all, that place is so damn cold inside that arena. Let's start with that. Secondly, their fans, man, is pretty intense. During the playoffs, it's really crazy, man. They might say anything out their mouth.
Really?
And then, after talking to some of friends and family members, when they leave in the stadium and walking back to their hotel or trying to get a cab or Uber, and their fans are like the rudest, man.
The 5 toughest guys you had to guard in your career, whether it was high school, college, or the pros.
Charles Barkley.
Damn.
Grant Hill.
Ugh.
Tim Duncan.
Ugh.
Jamal Mashburn.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to give it to, in high school, Jamie Brandon. But I had some moments where, I switched on to him. No, take Jamie Brandon out of it. No, give it to Deion Thomas.
Deion Thomas.
And this is a bonus question here, man. Who is the guy that you used to give it to?
Hey, in high school?
All of them.
All of them.
Right.
All levels.
I started in high school. Till this day, he probably still don't like me. And I don't like him either. It's
Big Shelly Clark.
Shelly, I used to give it to his ass.
South Shore.
Yep. And then in the NBA, we used to have some wars. Oh man, he used to talk trash too, man. I couldn't believe it, man. I thought that was disrespectful. Tom Gugliotta, man.
Really?
Big Tom.
Tom Gugliotta.
Gugliotta, man. He talked trash to me a few times, man. Slick out his mouth when he played for Minnesota Timberwolves, man.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. No doubt.
North Carolina State product. Interesting.
Yep.
Who's that in college for you?
In college, I would have to go with oh man, Kenny Williams when he played for Purdue, man. That was back in that South Shore CBS rivalry. When he was at Purdue, he was still like, trying to play that Mr. Tough Guy role, try to body me up, be extra physical. So I used to make sure that I used to try to give it to him every time I played against him.
My goodness.
That's what's up.
That's hot,
Juwan
man.
Howard on our halftime top 5. That's what's up.
Absolutely.
I want to jump right into this question wheel on him about the baggy shorts. How did that come about?
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Rose, man. Jay Rose, bro. He was the one really politic to get that and make that happen for the team because, he always wanted bigger shorts. Sometimes he'll grab one of our teammates' Chip Armour shorts because his shorts was bigger and wear it in practice. And so I never forget Jalen asking Coach Fisher, like, Coach, man, we need to have some bigger shorts. We can't have these Stockton shorts, man. And Coach just said, hey, you can get some bigger shorts if y'all win some damn games. So
hey, all I know is when y'all came with them shorts, bro, it felt like
Changed the game.
It changed the game because it was like, damn, that's how we wear our shorts on the playground. Like they took the swag and the style of how we rocking on the playground and put it into college sports. And don't just slap them with the black and white socks. Ray gave us that story on the sock story on the sock game.
Yeah, man. Ray Jackson, that was the dude that got the black socks going, man. If we only knew that now, like with the NIL.
Yes.
So if Ray come out with the black socks, the first one to wear them, and then pass it on to the 4 of us, like Ray right now would be like $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not trying to count his money, but he probably would be a billionaire because black socks, I'm wearing black socks right now. I never wear white.
Right.
Big Nook.
I love it.
Say I'm wearing black socks right
Come
now.
on, that's all I wear is black socks.
Oh,
I love
wow.
First of all, man, Nike owe y'all a grip anyway. They owe y'all some back pay on that.
Man.
Because Ray was telling us after y'all did that, y'all go play Duke and y'all get to the locker room. He said ain't nothing but black gym shoes and black socks. In there waiting on y'all.
Come on, man. Yo, Nike really, like, they took that thing and like ran with it. They saw it. They saw the vision of how impactful we were in the community and how that black sock, black shoe with the Barclays, and how it's going to take off like no other. Because keep in mind, that was Charles Barkley's shoe.
Right.
I think we promoted his shoe better than he promoted himself.
Right. He sure did.
Stop playing with me.
Can you imagine them going to Barkley and saying, Barkley, this is your new shoe, and for your marketing purposes, we're gonna let the Fab Five market them for you for free.
Right,
and
right.
like, okay, yeah, do that.
Nuke, it's so much to talk to you about, man, and I know we got to let you go. So we got a couple more questions, man. I'm hoping we can get you back on the show again. But my last question for you, and then Agee got a question for you. I just want to go here, man, because our parents are special. Our grandmothers are special. I wanted to reserve some time, man, for you to share with, the Hoop Dreams podcast fans about your grandmother, Miss Jenny Mae, how she raised you. I mean, just that love and that compassion. And a lot of folks don't even know the story that she passed on the day of your signing. So can you just speak to the realness of that?
Bro, man, it's touching. I get a little emotional, man, just to now think about that, how my grandmother, when you talk about the God and how, God put things in your life for a reason, and you always have a plan. And times when you don't want to trust the plan, you got to have trust because, there is some positive that's going to come out of it for sure. And looking back to that day when I was ready to commit to the University of Michigan and let the world know where I was going to attend college, my grandmother never once told me or tried to influence my decision. She wanted me, a 17-year-old man, young man, to make a decision for his own collegiate future. And nowadays I look at it like, wow, 17, that's a tough decision for any 17-year-old to have to make when you have so many, great options to choose from. And, but, I don't know, I just prayed on it and came down the stairs and that morning and told grandma I'm going to Michigan and that's the school that I'm going to choose and that's what I'm going to let the media know. And she was like, that's the school I wanted you to choose was Michigan. I didn't want you to feel like I was making your decision for you. You don't want to, I didn't want you to regret it if you didn't like the school. You'll come back and be, mad or upset with me. So I was like, no, grandma, I just feel it with this staff. And I just, I really love what they have to offer from, and my grandmother was so in awe with the education part of it. She just wanted to see me go to college and be able to get the degree and be the first of our family to get a degree. So I go to school, make the decision, have practice, come home after practice, and I pull up and I see like, a lot of little cars outside, people coming in and out of my house. And I'm like, wow, grandma never liked traffic coming in and out.
Right.
What's all these people coming in and out of the house? What's going on? And then I walked up to the crib and before I get to the house, I saw this lady coming out. I'm like, yo, what's up? It's not my place to tell you. I said, what you mean? Then at that point, I'm like, no, you about to tell me. Told me like, yo, your grandma passed. I said, oh no. And I just went numb, bro. I didn't feel how, just everything just was dead silence. That was right there when I look back on it, I'm like, yo, my grandma knew, like, she knew like what was the best for me, what was gonna be the best for my future, what was gonna help me with my development as a young man. And she knew the right people that would help with that. Coach Fisher and Dutcher and Jay Smith and Perry Watson, and as well as Mike Boyd, she trusted them. And then for God to take her that day, he felt that, that time is now. And he's like, she basically God was telling her that Nuki gonna be okay. Don't worry, he gonna be fine. So it was just, I look back on it, I'm like, wow, how was I able to get through that process? And obviously the strength came from her and from God.
Like you saying, you go numb, you 17, and she still knows you're gonna be able to handle this, son.
Yeah.
You made the right decision. You're gonna be able to handle this. And that's just amazing. That's just so amazing and inspiring that our listeners need to hear that story, really understand where that love that you now gives out to other kids and other families.
I didn't look at it that way. But you're right, though, Arthur. Like, we're here to serve, man. And I look at what others have impacted in my life and what they have gave their time, their energy, their all the knowledge and all they put their heart into it as far as helping me with my development, knowing that I'm a young man that was trying to find himself and helping me grow and navigate through college and be there supporting me through. It's easy to support someone when they, MBA, with a big paycheck or whatever. But like, I saw the realness of some individuals who have impacted my life in so many ways, and I really stuck with those people and helped me, and we helped each other grow. And so I look back on a guy like Donnie Kirksey and Lamont Juice Carter, and my godfather Greg Wise, and my two cousins, Dion and Jermaine. Like, those folks, man, they're no longer here, and I'm not just shouting them out because they passed away, but those are the folks that I really thank so much, man. Obviously, my grandmother's the obvious one, but I'm just saying, as far as the men, they have always been supportive and helping me, and so now I'm put in a position now to share, some of the things that I did wrong to these young men, so they won't make the same mistakes. Share some of the stories that has helped me and help my path, and help and see what I can do to help impact them in a lot of ways. And it's bigger than basketball. It's not just about the wins and the losses. It's not just about the ball bouncing. It's about life stories, life skills that can help them. So when their time comes, we want to keep being givers, man, instead of being receivers.
Knowing we got to let you go, I got one praise to give you on the Juwan Howard Foundation when you used to come here and do the free basketball camp, man. I want to tell you, the city ain't never been the same since it left us, bro. People still talk about it today. People who you hired to work the camp and kids that had came through that camp. I just want to commend you for doing that camp for the many years that you did it, man, because you changed lives with that camp. You were so giving of yourself, of your time, and you were there every day, every morning.
And what was the real name of the camp? Get a full name of the camp, because it was more than just basketball.
The Juwan Howard Basketball School.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
I didn't want to just focus on basketball, and we all know here that when you talk about what has impacted our life so much is life skills. So we had a life skill department that was young men on teaching them how to eat healthy. Talking about someone wanted to go into communications, so we had a nice little a radio, TV, communication classes going on. But then last but not least, they had to go to class too. And so we had laptops, computers. We give them homework and make sure that those who finished their homework, they were allowed to play. Those who did not bring in their homework the next day were not being able to participate in the camp. Just giving them responsibilities about life, about, it's just here. What we're trying to do is do wherever we can to help our youth in the Chicago area who never had an opportunity to been downtown. So the camp was held at Bible, and we used to bus kids from various neighborhoods to the Moody Bible Institute. And so,
it was free.
And it was free. True. I forgot about it. It was free.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Free. Like I said, you have the most innovative camp that had ever been done in Chicago, bro. Can't nobody else come in this city and say, oh, I'm doing a camp, the Jabari Parkers and all of them, the D Roses. Your camp will and always be the first camp that come to my mind that took care of the whole kid.
Man, well, thank you guys for being a part of it, man, and coming and helping and speaking to the kids and showing your face and giving them a hug and telling your life.
I was going to be that Moody Bible in Cabrini's backyard.
Right.
Right?
So I used to meet you up there every summer. He was like, Will, you coming? I'm there.
Thank you, man. Thank you, fellas. I love y'all, man.
Last question, Coach. What's the next chapter in Nuki Howard's hoop dream?
Next chapter is winning the national championship. They call it work, but coming here and knowing that you have young men that just, asking for more and more, asking for, to teach them, and they open to learning. So,
shoot, I want to come and be a walk-on on that team.
I'm the gold of my era. I've been a trending topic. I'm as fly as a feather. My pockets macroscopic. See, with time I get better. I'm always in the action, kid. Know I got it locked from Chicago where the toughest live. Concrete jungle, earn my stripes on the pavement there. You make it here, then you can make it anywhere. No comparison. Your game is embarrassing. No one can touch me. I'm all for going there again. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.
Hoop Dreams, the podcast, an Unlearning Network production. Written and produced by Arthur Agee, Will Gates, Matt Hoffar, with audio engineering from Matt Savage. For more episodes, check us out at www.unlearningnetwork.com.
Gotta be a dog to survive in this cold weather. Ice in my veins, no need for a warm sweater. I'm coming for it all, best believe I won't let up, yeah. Hey, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.